Hello friends, welcome to my channel Together with Abhi. In this video, we are going to talk about storage classes and object lifecycle management. So as I had mentioned to you earlier, AWS intends to provide you with the best pricing. Okay. So what it did, it came up with a lot of use cases for your storage classes, the way you use them, how frequently you use them. So it came up with certain parameters, and based on those parameters, it tried to come up with some kind of segregation, and these segregation are called as storage classes. So first thing, let's try to find out what those parameters are, or what those parameters could possibly be. So they thought first is frequency. Frequency determines how often do you want to access your data. Okay. Life life tells you how long lived your data should stay in the storage. Criticality is just the importance of data, how important the data is for you. And lastly, retrieval time, which determines how quickly or how fast do you want to have your data with you. Okay, so based on different use cases, they came up with these four parameters, and based on these four parameters, they came up with certain kind of segregation, and these are called as storage classes. So you can see standard IA, infrequently accessed, one zone, infrequently accessed, Glacier, and Glacier Deep Archive. So let's see, by default it is standard. Okay, standard storage class is provided by default, and the frequency is high. So if in case you want to quickly and very frequently access your data, you should go for standard. The life is short. Okay, uh, the life, when I say it is less than kind of 30 days, you do not want to have it long lived in your storage. Criticality is high, and retrieval time is in within seconds. You want to have your data within seconds. Now the second use case was infrequently accessed. Usually what happens is, when the data gets created, it is frequently accessed for some time, and most likely it is not accessed as much after 30 days or more. Okay, so the frequency becomes medium, the life is medium. You do not want to have this data for a very long time. Okay, criticality still remains high, and retrieval time usually is within seconds or just a minute. So if in case you have such kind of a use case, you should go for standard infrequently accessed storage class. Now, next thing that could happen is, you might to want to have similar kind of parameters for frequency, life, and retrieval time, but this is not a very critical data for you. Okay, when we say not a critical data, it means you can have the freedom of having this data just in one availability zone. You do not want this data replicated to multiple availability zones, because this is not a critical data, so you have the freedom of even reproducing it at your free will. Okay, and this is going to cost you less. So that's why this storage class is one zone infrequently accessed. Okay, with all the parameters same as standard infrequently accessed, but just for non-critical data. Also, please note, standard has the highest paying cost. Standard infrequently accessed would have less, one zone infrequently accessed would have lesser. So the cost goes on decreasing as you go down. Now Glacier, if in case you have a use case wherein you do not want to have very frequent access to your data, you just access it once in like 1 year or 2 year, but you want to have this data archived with you for a long time. Now this requirement could be basically because of data retention policy of a company, or due to regulatory requirements. It could be backup, something like that, but criticality still remains high. Okay, but you have the liberty of getting this data within minutes or hours. Then Glacier is the way to go. Now there could be use case where you want to store data, everything remains same just like Glacier, but you have a very long live period. Okay, like 7 to 10 years, but you do not want to pay at all. Okay, retrieval time is going to be very high. It could take around 10 to 12 hours. If you are fine with such a use case, you should go for Glacier Deep Archive. So on a very high level, these are the four parameters, and these are the five storage classes you should basically intend for. Other than that, there are two more. One is reduced redundancy. which I will not recommend as of now because it has been made obsolete by AWS already. And the last one is an intelligent tiering. So if in case you do not have any idea what kind of data you are dealing with, okay, so what AWS will do for you, if in case you choose a class intelligent tiering, it will, based on its analysis of your data, is going to put your data in any of these storage classes at different period of time. Okay, so that is intelligent tiering. It costs you a little more, but it is good because you do not have a complete knowledge of your data and you still want to have an optimized pricing. So based on your need, let's say today it will keep it in standard. After 30 days, it will move it to standard infrequently assessed. And similarly, it will keep on analyzing, and based on it, it will keep on transitioning it from one storage class to another. Now, I will show you directly within AWS console where this is provided and how you can choose these kind of storage classes. So let's see that. Now for the purpose of this practical, I already have created a bucket called as Together with Abhi. Okay. And now I'm going to upload the data. So let us just select any file because we do not, so this is an index.html that I already have created. And when you go to properties, now this is the place where you are going to see the different kind of storage classes. Now, as I had told you, uh, the points to note here are the availability zones. Availability zones, they usually have more than three, equal to or greater than three. Only in case of one zone infrequently accessed, they are going to lower down the availability zones. Okay. Now, there are certain prerequisites also. Okay. These are minimum storage duration and minimum billable object size. So you can see different parameters or different prerequisites for all of these. Okay. 30 days, 128 KB. When they say 128 KB, what it means is, even if you store a 10 KB of data within this storage class, they are going to charge you for 128 KB as the minimum amount. Okay. So these are the different kind of prerequisites. So this is one location. When you are creating an object, you can set up a storage class. Okay. So let's say we have chosen standard and you upload it. So if in case tomorrow in the future you feel like changing the storage class for an already existing object, what you will have to do is you will have to go back to an object, go to its properties, choose a storage class, and this is the location from where you can change the storage class. Okay. Important to note is about the intelligent tiering that I mentioned. This will do data analysis on your object, and based on that, it will just move as per the need to the storage class, right storage classes. It will keep on transitioning to the right storage classes. This provides you with one more mechanism of object lifecycle management at the bucket level. So we will have to go to the bucket. Okay, so this is the bucket, and within that, if you go to management, there is an option of creating a life cycle. Okay, so let's say we create a life cycle rule, something like test. Okay, and what we are going to say here is apply to all objects in the bucket. We are going to transition. Okay, so we are going to transition the current version only. Okay, and we will have to add transition. So we want to transition to standard infrequently accessed after 30 days. So you are kind of creating a life cycle for your data. Okay, that after 30 days it should move to different storage class. After 1 year it should move to different storage class. Okay, so these are the transitions that you are creating. Okay, so let's click next. You also want to set up the expiration. Maybe after 1 year you feel like, okay, now I do not want to transition it to any other class. It's best time to just delete it forever. So you can do that also, and based on that you can just review and save it. Okay, so you will have to acknowledge and save it. There is no point of creating it right now because we would not be able to see it in demo in practical, because we will have to wait for like 30 days or 1 year. But this is overall the way you should be creating the lifecycle rule, and it would help you save the price or the cost for your data storage. So guys, that's all for today. We will continue with more features in the upcoming videos. If you like the video, please like it and share it. comment it if in case you have any doubts, and also do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your time.